Hello once again. So I thought I'd have to do another nostalgic video. This time it's going to be Formula One Grand Prix on the Commodore Amiga. Yes, the Commodore Amiga again. Now I'm going to rewind a little bit. I think it was about 1992. So this is the days before I had an Amiga. By then I was only on the Commodore 64. So I have never experienced 16-bit technology. Yes, I know it's 1992. As I said, no, I have not experienced 16-bit technology yet. I told you I was always late to the party. I was late to the party when I got my Amstrad CPC 464 back in 1985. Yep, I was always late to the party. But by then, I wasn't into computer games as much. I think where the Commodore 64 in 92, there wasn't games hardly for it anymore. You know, 8-bit gaming has diminished. It's hardly non-existent anymore. So and by then I was into other things. I think me and my mates was into our radio controlled cars at this time. A couple of my mates that we lived down the same street, yeah, was into our radio controlled cars, so really we wasn't into computer games as much. And I think it was in the same year there was I knew of him, but you know, it was someone we didn't really hang around with too much, but we knew of him, and he invited us round his house. And what he done, he got out his Commodore Amiga. Oh wow, he's got a Commodore Amiga, okay. And he showed us Formula One Grand Prix for the first time. Okay, this is going to be interesting. And when I saw it, you know, you got to remember we're talking 90s, you know, so by then these graphics were fucking mind blowing. So this is before obviously the PlayStation 2 or anything like that come out. Yeah, he loaded this, but he didn't have the first disc where it had the music and the intro. It didn't have that, so he just obviously loaded it in from disc 2. And when he showed us, like, you know, the cockpit view of the car, and when he drove away and you hear the V10 engine sounds, I thought, wow. You know, I was absolutely gobsmacked when I saw that game. And when he changed it to the out, you know, when the camera view, when the car goes, yeah, I could do it. I can't exactly do a Formula One impression, but you know, for the time, I thought, wow. I just said to my mate, I've got to get an Amiga. I've got to buy an Amiga. That looks fucking brilliant. And I think he loaded in some other game after that. I can't remember what it was. It was a top-down shoot. I can't remember what that game is now, but it was sort of like a shoot 'em up. But anyway, we're not talking about that. But when I saw Formula One Grand Prix for the very first time, I had to get an Amiga. I had to get an Amiga. And you know, get myself back into gaming again, because that was fucking brilliant. So I think it was the summer when he showed me that. 92. I was learning to drive, so my priority was to pass my driving test. Once I passed my driving test, then I'll set my sights on possibly getting an Amiga, because I had a full-time job then, so I could easily afford it. But I set my goal to pass my driving test first. I was 18 at the time, so yeah. So eventually I did pass my driving test. I believe it was December 1992 I passed my driving test. And once I passed my driving test, that was it. Yeah, I passed my driving test and okay, I don't have to worry about that no more. So the next thing I did, okay, let's go for a Commodore Amiga now. and I bought one in that December. I remember that, and it was second hand. My Amiga 500. I bought an Amiga 500 second hand. I think it cost about £300, but it came with a load of games. I think it was the Batman pack, so I think that was a 1990 model. So it would have been about 2 years old. It also came with the 1 megabyte expansion card that goes on the bottom. Did it come with any joysticks? I can't remember. Obviously, it came with the Amiga 500, the mouse, the modulator, which I fucking hated. I hated that modulator that goes in the back. But luckily, I got myself a SCART to RGB thing, so I got rid of that fucking modulator and plugged it into the SCART connector on the back of the TV, and the picture was absolutely fantastic. It was a much improved picture. Didn't have that stupid modulator sticking out the back anymore, so that was great. Yeah, so obviously it didn't come with Formula One Grand Prix, but that was about to change because I went out and brought it. I wanted to get that game, so I've got my Amiga 500 there now, playing a few games on it. It came with a lot of games. I can't remember what games it came with. I think yeah, let's just say it was the Batman pack, so it definitely came with Batman pack, deluxe painting, all the other stuff, you know. But no, I wanted Formula One Grand Prix. That's what I wanted there. So obviously I went out and bought it. I went out and brought it. Can't remember where I brought it from now. Was it starting to have gaming shops at this point? Might have been in a gaming shop, because obviously the 8-bit days there wasn't no gaming shops. So I remember there was one in Brighton. Used to go there when we was day trip to Brighton. There was a good gaming shop there. But you know, a retail place was either Boots or WH Smith's. They were the two biggest stockists of computer games for the 8-bit systems back in the 80s. But I can't remember where I bought this now. I know I brought it. I can't remember. I think it was £35. Could have been. But I was going to pay for it, no, regardless. I was going to pay for it. I wanted that game, and that's why I bought the Amiga 4. Was to play Formula One Grand Prix, and I bought it. So I bought it home. I think it came with 4 discs. I think it was 4 discs, wasn't it? Because they had the intro disc, and let's put the disc in. Because yeah, right, I was just excited this time. All you hear is that music. Dun, 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 dun. If you played on the Amiga, and you put the first disc in, that intro music, wow, that was fucking brilliant. And you got the intro of the car, you know, getting in the car. Yeah, it's a lot of fucking much better than the PC version. Well, not the game, because the game runs smooth on the PC, but the fucking sounds, the intro, the music was so much better on the Amiga over the PC. And I did review it on the ST. Anyway, I'm not fucking talking about these other systems. Didn't even have a PC then. Who cares? But playing it was an exciting thing. But what you got to do is turn down because it ran slower on the 500. So what I did to make the game run better, you could turn off the backgrounds. So that's what I did to make the game run faster. But wow, I spent ages playing that game. I spent ages. Absolutely loved that game. Fucking brilliant. The sounds, just everything about it. At the time, the tracks were really, for its time, the tracks were properly done. You know, not like these arcadey games where, you know, the tracks don't feel right anyway. But these tracks did feel good. You know, it's like you're racing on the tracks. You know, obviously modern games, you know, it ain't like that. You don't get the undulation and things like that. But this was the closest you got for its time. That's why it was fucking brilliant. And you could adjust the bits, adjust the cars. I think it was based on the 1991 season, so you had all the McLarens, the Williams when they were great, the Benetton you can drive. but it had fictional names and team names. It didn't have the actual names and the team names. So I think that was down to because they didn't have the license to use the team names and the real names. So, but you had an editor. The thing is, you had an editor, and if you wanted to, you could put the real names in and the real teams in. But what we did, we put the real team names in, the real of the teams. Or there was a disc you could get. We got hold of, there was some disc you can get hold of. I don't know where I acquired it from, but I got hold of this where it puts in the real names, the real team names, and I think it even gives you car setups for you for certain tracks. But then I think what I did, I started. Obviously, I put my name in where the car I was driving, because you could choose what car you wanted to drive. So I always chose the Williams, even though McLaren won it. But obviously, I wanted to be Nigel Mansell, so I was always wanting to drive Nigel Mansell's car. So I always put my name in Nigel Mansell's car. Yeah, it was fucking brilliant. You know, you get to drive the tracks. You know. You could get car damage if you want, but I always made the car invincible. You know, I think half the fun of that was smashing into the other cars. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I never played that game properly. I just smashed into the other cars. Yeah, I think that's what made it more fun actually. And until my mates started coming round, you know. I had to show. I showed a couple of mates. Oh, I've got an Amiga. Come and have a look at my Amiga, mate. Yeah. And I thought, wow, we're gonna put Formula One on. So let's have a game of Formula One. Me and a couple of my mates. We just played it. We just played that to death. You know. Absolutely enjoyed it. Because obviously what it is. I like the way it worked on that, because it ain't. You can only play one player at a time, but what it had was a hot seat mode. So what this does, one driver has control of the car, of the car you picked. So you could drive it for about a minute or 2 minutes. I think you can set it so how long you want to drive before the person comes in. So what happens? The computer's in control of the car, then it counts down, then you take control of the car for about a couple of minutes or something like that. Then the time starts to tick down after when the computer takes control of the car again. So then the next person would come up. Right, you're driving with what's so and so a name. So that person will come and sit down on the chair, get in front of the computer, and they'll take over their car, you know. And depending on how many players you can play it up to how many? I think there was about 30 cars. Was there about 30? Maybe more cars, less cars. I can't remember now. There was about 30 cars. Because I'll ignore that. Because Formula One back then there was lots of different teams. So I think there was about. It consisted up to maybe 30 cars. So you can. And not all these teams had 2 cars. I think there was a couple of teams that only had 1 car. Yeah, so there was a lot of cars. So meaning you could play up to 30 odd players if you wanted to in a hot seat mode. Never done that. But I think the most we played was about 4 or 5 at times. And we had so much fun playing that when my mates used to come around, you know, playing Formula One Grand Prix. That was fucking brilliant. Did we play it properly? No, of course we didn't play it properly. I think half the fun was smashing into the other fucking cars. Of course we didn't play it properly. We just enjoyed fucking playing it. That's the whole point about computer games. Is having a laugh playing it. And that's exactly what we fucking did. Was have a laugh playing it. Smashing into the other cars. You know, trying to win the race. Oh, wow. Because you could set it so all the drivers, ignore that again, all the drivers, you know, the human drivers that is, had the same, you know, it doesn't matter what car you was in, you know, it's down to the driver, you know. So you could, I was in the Williams, or someone else could have been in a shitty, I don't know, one of the back of the grid teams, but it didn't matter, because once you was in that car, all the human cars all equal, so there was no performance difference. But the computer cars were all like set to the 1991 rules, but you could change that if you want to. You could change that to all the same, so all the cars become the same. But there were so many options you could do. It was fucking brilliant for a game like that. It was fucking absolutely brilliant. So I was absolutely over the moon when I got my Amiga 500. I was really happy. You know, having a computer, having an Amiga was something brilliant. You know, experiencing those 16-bit games. And the year after, I got an Amiga 1200. Because it was brand new, but that cost less than my second-hand Amiga 500. So I bought the 1200, and the game ran even faster. You know, I didn't even have to switch off the backgrounds because the game ran even faster, and it was just fucking brilliant. You know, mates coming around, yeah, let's have a game, yeah, brilliant. You know, just fucking smash each other off. It was fucking brilliant, absolutely fucking brilliant playing that. You know, once again, you know, as I said, with sensible soccer and sensible words, me and my mates used to play this. You know, maybe play this, then play sensible soccer, drinks, everyone, you know, same old thing. But the nostalgia for Formula One Grand Prix was fucking brilliant. Absolutely. You know, I'm absolutely glad I owned an Amiga. You know, I owned 2 Amigas, you know, but it was fucking brilliant. Yeah, the nostalgia for it. We just didn't care. We just didn't play the game properly. We just smashed into anyone who was on that fucking track. We didn't fucking use our brakes to slow. We just fucking whacked into the car in front of us. That was our brakes. Yep, you just smash into that car. There's your brakes right there. Oh my god, it was like Demolition Derby, Formula One cars. Fucking brilliant. Absolutely fantastic times they were. Now, that was, as I said, on the Amiga. Now, when in '97 I did buy a PC. And one of these games I did end up getting was Formula One Grand Prix on the PC. Now, the PC version did run better. You know, it's a more powerful computer, so it was a lot more smoother. It had a little bit more detail on the track. Yeah, it was a sort of similar game, but I know obviously the sounds were no way as good as the Amiga version. No way as good. They're sort of like that crappy MIDI sort of sound, which like from the old Sound Blaster 16 sort of thing. You know, the music was crap coming out of one of those things. It really was crap. But we did used to play it on the PC, but we just didn't have. I don't think that nostalgia value was there like we had on the Amiga. But then I got Grand Prix 2 on the PC, and that fucking changed everything when I did that. I won't talk about that, but that could be a video for another time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane for me. It's good to share something like that. So what was your favourite game on whatever system? What did you have the most nostalgia playing with you or your mates, whatever? Anyway, going to end this now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, and goodbye.